Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're all having a wonderful Tuesday or have already had a wonderful Tuesday. How is everyone doing? And I see everyone starting to message and say where they are from, where in the world, what time what is. You should also say, what's the weather? Because it's quite cold in Toronto today. Very, very windy. I heard it was 80 kilometers per hour wind. I could hear the wind whistling outside. Good morning and good evening. Good evening from Stony Plain, Alberta. Amarjeet, good morning from Singapore. So it should be your Wednesday morning, I think. Yeah. Hello, Julian from Toronto. Yes, it's 9 p.m. now. Hello, Yossi from Irvine. Let's see. We're waiting for Ramin to get on. So as we wait, please message your partners and tell them to get on this call. Let's see, we have Yossi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from California. Tammy from Pittsburgh, locked down but nowhere near out. Good morning from Thailand, Ronan. I hope it's really nice there. Hello, good evening for Ifra from Ottawa, Maria from Toronto, Terry from Calgary, Alberta. Good morning, Singapore. Hello, Robin. Hello, Myrna from Edmonton. Let's see. I'm just waiting to see if Ramin's on so I can make sure he's on this call. All right. Hello, hello. Let's see, Myrna from Edmonton. Good afternoon, I think. Good, yeah. Hello to whoever Galaxy is. Hello, Boris from Edmonton. Hello from Vancouver. Dominica, Kendra from Edmonton, Alberta. Oh, 21 degrees? Really? That's really nice there. Hi, Maria again. Hello, Pearl for Dominica. Hello, Rico from Philippines. Good morning. Hello from Pickering, Ontario. I'm a little behind on the messages. Hello from Trinidad, Calgary, Israel, St. Lucia. Oh, sunny beach day. I'm very jealous. Hello, Cuthbert from St. Lucia. Calgary. Oh, Calgary sunny. It was not sunny here today. Oh, I see Ramin. So let's see. Oh, wrong person. I think that's sorry. Hold on. You guys are moving too fast. Okay, sorry, Ramin, just finding you. And there we go. Nope, why is that still doing that? Hold on, let me try again. A second. No, this is not liking me. I don't know if it's okay. Well, Ramin is. I've allowed you to talk.
Hello, good evening, Ramin
but
here.
Can't quite make you a panelist. Let's see. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi. Hello, can you hear us? Oh, I think he may have maybe some technical issues. Anyways, we'll continue until I see him again. If you can unmute yourself on your side, you're unmuted on my side. Did that work? Hello, Ramin. Okay, I have you unmuted.
Hello, good evening.
There we go. Yes, I can hear you now.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry, I was on the phone. So, who do we have on the call now?
Oh, we have lots of people from all over the world. We have from Toronto, of course, Brisbane, Australia, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Israel, Ottawa again, cold Niagara Falls from Nora, Leduc, Alberta. We have USA, South America. Wow. Of course, we have Singapore, lots and lots of places from around the world. We have Trinidad, we have St. Lucia, Philippines. I heard it's very nice in Alberta today. Edmonton, Vancouver, lots of Edmontons, and Singapore. Oh, wow. People from around the world tuning in. It's morning in some places, evening in some places. California, lots of beautiful places in the world, and everybody's tuning in.
Good stuff. I've been working all day on certain things, and I didn't give it any thought what we want to talk about tonight. I got to tell you, it was quite an awakening yesterday. And maybe we can do is talk about that, because it gives us a tremendous amount of awakening. It was for me. It was for me. I'm not sure if you heard, yesterday I did a call for Iran. And something they've been asking for a long time. They're asking for a forensic call for a long time. I get calls a lot from other companies and other networkers, not companies like company as corporate, but distributors and leaders from other companies. I've always said no to that. It's kind of a conflict, and I've done a few things in the past few years, small stuff, but people I know well, I don't talk about it. It's just to help, to give to the industry. But nothing, I refuse to get involved in that. And so Iran, being my home country, badly hampered by what's going on with the sanctions. They can't even get medical stuff into the country. And, we all love our countries, birth countries, we don't like to see what's going on. Then the COVID thing happened, and they can't even get medical supplies and all this stuff. They have to make their own hand sanitizers and masks. So it's just one of those things. And now that country being economically suppressed, MLM becomes that much more important, because there is not that much opportunity out there. I mean, there's 80 million people there, and the country is being suppressed heavily. This is why I love this industry so much, because it doesn't matter what country you're in. It brings you hope. It doesn't matter if you're in an island of 50,000 people like San Martin, or 15,000 people like Anguilla. If you're under a country that's completely suppressed economically, it just doesn't matter. It's just the industry brings hope. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. So I've been asked for a long time if I could do something for Iran, and being my home country, and I finally decided that, I want to do it, because especially when the COVID hit, we want to do all we can. And one of the things I wanted to do is help the Iranian MLM industry. I've been doing things for, supporting them for about 5 years. Although I don't have a lot of time to post and those type of things. So somebody said, would you do something for our company? One of the MLM companies down there, and I said, no, I wouldn't do that. I've been asked a lot, actually, from different companies. And I think we only did one one conference call for a company, and it was like a small thing. It was like a 2-hour webinar, and they paid a lot of money for it. I didn't keep the money; I just put in charity over there. So when you convert it, it was like close to $5,000 for a 2-hour webinar, and I give it to the charity in Iran. I don't take money, as you know. And so somebody says, "Would you do one for us?" And we got all the stuff going on. I said, "No, I won't do it for a company, but I'll tell you what. I'll see what I could do, that I could do something for the country, because it's my country. Because it should be one company benefiting from it if I'm going to put in the time, and I'm going to open it to everybody." And so I gave it some thought for a month or so. Then I decided, you know what, with this COVID thing happening, and we need to get on and do something. So I gave him 2 weeks. Really, it was just 2 weeks, because I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finally do a forensic webinar for Iran. As you know, forensic, we do these calls, but it's really not really about the system. It's basically, psychology of MLM. It's it's being a business person. It's being the foundation. Those things. We don't really talk systems on these calls because it's only an hour. There's not much we could do, and that I've saved for the conferences. That's for conventions. And so you guys have been to the forensic seminars, or it's 1 or 2 or 3 days. It's like 12-hour days, very intense, lots of stuff. So for the first time, I decided I'm going to bring part of the forensic seminar, the core of the system, into a webinar, and which was the MO box, and I did it, and it was a lot of information. It was like 4 hours, and it was hard to do because forensic, it's a system, and there's so many sections to the system. They're attached. So to try to take a 3-day, which is like 40 hours of courses, into try to take 3 hours of, is just hard to do. Forensic is not like anything else that's out there. It's a system that you have to know from the A to Z. Anyways, it was difficult. I spent about 7-8 hours to try to put something together that I could do in 3-4 hours. And it was tough to do, but we did it. But here is what I want to talk about. Leadership. You're all part of our company. You've had me for 15 years. And we do these calls every week. Yesterday, we do the product call. Today, we do the forensic call. Saturday, we do the opulence call. We have us, like we do this all. We have 35 calls a week that we do between tours and so forth. In 2 weeks, I told them I was going to do this in Iran, that competition went away. This is what I love about what MLM can do. The competition went away, and all companies came together for one cause, the forensic networker. One cause, they came together. And first, our regular Zooms, about 500 lines, then we had to add 1,000 lines to that, 1,500 lines. And the morning of the webinar yesterday, we're at 1,971 lines pre-registered. So we called Ivy and we called Zoom, and we raised it to 3,000 lines. And we had like 20, at one point, we had 2,791 lines pre-registered, but that's some problems. Or we found out later on after the webinar that lots of people couldn't get on. Well, Wi-Fi was one of the issues over there. And second thing is, in Iran, Zoom is sanctioned, right? It's an American company, Zoom. So they can't really get on the Zoom. So they have to use VPN, which is like this special software you have to buy and download and learn how to learn. And then basically what a VPN does is says that you're not where you are. And so you can actually get on certain websites. Like in China, they can't get on YouTube, right? So they use VPN to get on YouTube. They have their own YouTube over there, right? So in order to get on certain sites, and Iran is the same. But here is my whole point on this. As I reflect on this, I've been doing this for 30 years and train 1 million people. And it's incredible when you have a cause, when you have one cause, how everything goes away. How everything, the competition goes away. And I really love the leadership there. If we said to, for they had 2 weeks. They had 2 weeks to pull away the competition, come together. The leadership had to take everybody and say, we're going to get on this app called Zoom. And of course, some have heard, many haven't. And by the way, Zoom is sanctioned in Iran and we can't even get on Zoom, right? So not only they don't know the app, they have to first learn the app, right? Download it. Oh, by the way, you can't even get on Zoom. And so now we have to download or buy a VPN, which is another software. Then the teachers, the trainers have to teach people, download VPN, buy it, download it, learn how to use VPN first, to use that to get on Zoom second. Now you have to learn how to get on Zoom, register and all of that stuff. And then, by the way, be there early and take this information and duplicate what we just did, which is getting your people, teaching them about VPN, buy, download, teaching them about Zoom, get on. And with that, at one time, we had, I think, 2,791 pre-registered. I think our numbers that actually gone consistently was in the 1,500 to 1,800 range. There was a lot of issues there. We contacted Zoom as well, but that's not the point. That's MLM. Taking an average person. First of all, when the cause is big enough, competition goes away. It's incredible how the leaders in Iran got together and said, look, we want this forensic and we're going to make sure that everybody gets on. The leaders told us privately that because there was a lot of people who didn't understand this, there was a lot of people who older, who not really web savvy, be able to understand what VPN is and those things. So they had these little towns and villages in Iran. They actually had groups of 30 to 35 people on the big screen watching it happen, where during the lockdown, but they didn't want to miss it. It's incredible when something becomes a priority. When something becomes a priority. We do this every day. We do this every week. But it did a lot for me to know, and I've had since yesterday, between me and Payman and Sanaz, anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 messages. It's just been unbelievable, busy, how grateful they are, and how much they appreciate MLM, and they should, and that feels amazing to me, and how appreciative they are of forensic and the time I'm putting in, and that makes me want to do even more. I was doing it before that anyways. It's my country, it's my duty to do it, but even now, and it brings back to what I always talk about in MLM, which is, MLM is the greatest equalizer. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what situation you're at. Even during a pandemic, when the government forces to lock you in at home, takes away your liberty, and says that you have to stay home. And network marketers, we're right at home. It didn't affect us too much. Yesterday, we hear from the US government that $2 trillion superhero package is all the money. Gone. Now they're struggling to find more money for subsidies. Same for us. Our prime minister said their money's over. And now they're trying to struggle to find more money for people. I don't understand the way these people think. Yesterday, JCPenney announced that they're going bankrupt because of the pandemic. Now they were in trouble a little bit before that, but this just killed it. There's another one too. It's like a luxury chain. They also announced they're going bankrupt. In the United States, there's millions of jobs just gone. In Canada, we heard this, but it's true around the world, especially in Asia and East Southeast Asia. Domestic violence is high. In America, the domestic violence is up. Suicides are up. Wow. Wow. And the psychological damage that's caused by this pandemic is 100 times worse than the virus itself. The psychological. Kids will never be the same because in some households, the parents are uptight now. They're hard on the kids. You know, not all households, you know, it's horrible. I've always been really, really passionate about MLM. You know me. I'm low in energy today. I was up late last night, and today I've been writing a lot, so I'm low in energy today. But I've always been passionate about MLM because I understand to my core how important it is in our lives. I wrote in the Forensic Networker that MLM is not a choice. I said MLM is not a choice. It's a moral responsibility if you have the chance to do it. I've been saying this for 15 years. It's not a choice, it's a moral responsibility. And we know that to be true now, isn't it? In countries where people, all around the world, everywhere. But in some countries, the subsidies are really low. It's like $100 a month. The people who are dying from this lockdown is about, we're hearing different stats, 50 to 100 times more than what the virus is killing. Here's the reason why. Unlike Canada, many countries around the world, including Europe, doctors aren't free. If you want to go see a doctor, you actually have to pay for that. Either you have to pay for it or the children pay for you, but if everyone's locked down, so people who have conditions, they can't even go to a doctor and they're dying. Medication is not free. It's not free here either. But in many countries, you don't take your medication, you die. Blood pressure and diabetes. So I'll take a look at what this industry brings. And it's been on about 70 years. And I think it's getting a type of appreciation that it deserved for a long time. It's finally getting it, and it took a virus to do it. The people who never thought about it, although it's been in their face, and now looking at this, you don't hear people saying negative things about MLM anymore. What's the alternative? And here's the reality of what's going on. I did a post a few days ago, and the post said, people are waiting for the powers, the world powers, to bring back the normal. And I had a picture of coronavirus on my poster, and I wrote on it, they did. They did bring the normal. This is the new normal. This is the new normal. If you think you're going to go back to the way it was pre-corona, you're delusional. Did the security laws go back to be pre-911, after 911? It didn't. They changed all the laws from banking system, anything to do with banking, with security. 911 changed it all 20 years later. It's not got any better, it got worse. They keep on evolving, right? Anything that becomes a global event like that, it changes the rules. Now, what Corona did, it changed all the rules. In my lifetime, this is the first time I've seen us locked down. I've never seen it. I've been here 40 years. I was telling that to my son. He doesn't understand it. He's 11, but I said, I've never seen this before. So the rules will change. Already they've cued us for what's coming. How many times you've heard in the last few weeks, every time you open the TV, the life will not get back to normal until a vaccine comes out. They're massaging your brains already. Vaccine comes out. They're already saying that coronavirus will come back again in the fall. They're already saying it now. We're going to have another breakdown. We don't know if there is ever going to be a vaccine because SARS and MERS are both respiratory viruses. Came out 20 years ago. There is still no vaccine for them. So, and this is also a respiratory virus. In fact, they call this SARS-2, right? It's a respiratory virus. So we don't even know if they're going to have a virus. And what we heard yesterday is that now they have confirmed in Canada, is it? Or is it US? Now they've confirmed at least 14 cases, people who had COVID-19, went to the hospital, recovered from it, they released them, and they went and they caught it again. They caught, so that means it's antibody stuff that once you get it, your body won't get it again. And every test they've done with this antibody testing that they're doing has failed. Over 100 cases, trial, it failed. So they're still not giving up on this antibody stuff, but so we don't know how is it going to be. And let's look at the best scenario, guys. Best scenario, they find a vaccine. Best scenario. I can tell you, if I have a choice, I will not put that anywhere close to me and my son or my family. We don't have to. We don't have to. We can avoid it. MLM has provided that opportunity for us. What's the danger to the human beings? What's the danger? That we have to stay home. We cannot go to work. Great! That's where we work. We work from home, and that's what we're doing right now. Great. Today we had application forms came from 6 countries. It's nice to see that. That slowed down this month a little bit. And our team came and said, hey, look, we got applications from 6 countries. So our online campaign is kicking in. So between internet, home, and health products, see, we live in a different world than the rest of the world do. See, our feet really doesn't have to hit the hot coals that the rest of the world walk on. It doesn't. We have an opportunity to turn our homes into a cash machine. That opportunity has been there. We have people who are doing it. When was the last time Reza, or Renee, or Vernisha, when was the last time Ronan, these guys had a job? So we have an opportunity to work from home, turn into a cash machine, and we have products that can protect us. And we're coming out with more pandemic, all this stuff. My point to you is this, my friends. We all start at the same place. I had a job one time. We all start at the same place. But we don't have to stay there. But before, that was a choice in my days. I don't think now it's a choice anymore. I don't think now MLM is a choice. Forget now, I'm not just talking moral. Before it was moral. I think now it's a necessity because you're one virus away from being jobless, incomeless, your liberty's gone, freedom's gone, health is gone, everything is gone. And we're not even talking about stuff that happens at home. Violence, depression, suicides. So I think about these things because one of the things I'm always good at is that when something happens, I'm always looking. Maybe that's what the visionary is all about, right? We always use the word visionary in good context, which is great. But really what it means is that be able to see something that's not be able to see, others cannot see. Be able to see something that others cannot see. And I'm looking at this as in the lingo, the language, the response, everything. It doesn't look good. Not a single time in the last 4 months that this has been going on, that the government of Canada or the US or anybody else put somebody up there who's an alternative medicine doctor and talk about some immune boosting natural products. Not one time they've done that. They could have done that. They could have said, wash your hands, 6-foot rule. And by the way, here's a list of immune system natural stuff you should be taking to build your immune system. No one has done that. See, I look at that, I say, well, government's not stupid, right? They know stuff exists out there. So whatever the agenda is, I don't know. I can tell you though, I'm glad in MLM. Because if I'm in MLM, I can turn my home into a cash machine. I don't need to rely on getting out of my home. Well, that does a few things. One, makes me money, right? Two, I'm not going crazy at home like the rest of the people. The second thing MLM provides is health, and in case of opulence, is protection. Protection. Everything that was hampered by this disease didn't affect us at all. They said, stay home. Great, we make money from home. Your checks was on time every day. He wasn't late 1 minute. You don't have to even think about it. Your card got, boom, filled up. The card got filled up. You can't get out, go stay in the line, or you can't find anything. We had no shortage. There was no shortage. We didn't sell out anything. While the world was locked out, they couldn't find the stuff you needed. We didn't have a shortage here. While they say you can't drive, we delivered it to you in over 200 countries. We ship product everywhere. The other day, somebody said, was it Kenya? Yeah, in Kenya. We're in Canada. Kenya, Canada, 3 days in the midst of pandemic. They got their product. So you can't even rely on Amazon, because when it comes down to things like Amazon and eBay, the government, the US government, they put restrictions on what they can sell. So you couldn't buy the pandemic stuff because they wanted to keep it for US. So now Amazon can't, you have a store on Amazon. Now you can't even sell your products. They stop it because they don't want you to sell it outside the country. They want to keep it within the US, and most importantly, keep it for the US hospitals and government. So you realize that even in other platforms like Amazon, you had no freedom. So I look at this as, okay, this is a warning for us. And I thank God that we've been ahead of all this stuff. And we've been ahead of so much. 2.5 years ago, we came up with this product. And this product is this product is right in the midst of everything you hear on the news, immune system, right there. Now, when we came up with it, we didn't know what was going to happen, but that's what I'm saying. It's not us. Somebody called me today and they called our staff. They were adamant they wanted to speak to me. And so my staff called me and said, Ramin, I'm sorry, somebody wants to speak to you. He said, okay, I said, sure, no problem. So the young lady got on the phone and telling me about how this has changed her life, and 6 people, how this product has really saved their life and all this stuff. And my position was, look, she was thanking me. I said, don't thank me, thank God. We didn't know 2.5 years ago this was going to be such an incredible breakthrough in a time like this. And we came out flawless, and the night cream, we put your skin and prolonged protection with the microsilver, and because of the flawless technology, now we're getting into hand cream, antibacterial hand cream, you know, again, and from there, we're pushing into more of a pandemic kit for next fall that's coming out. And next fall, when everybody's locked in at home again and lineups and can't find anything, and you're the person on this, you're on people's speed dial because people are going to call you for a pandemic kit. So everything is coming together for us, and it's happening incredible. But see, I don't attribute this, I should, but I don't attribute so much into our own company. I attribute it to MLM. MLM allows us to work from home, turn our home into a cash machine. MLM allows us to receive our product, drop ship, where the world is locked in and staying in line up and they can't get out. We get what we need. MLM allows us to get products that keeps us healthy. MLM most of all gives us hope and protection. It's unreal. I look at the order list. In March, we shipped FOL to 112 countries. I think 100, something like that, 115 countries or something like that. People from 115 countries wanted the protection from us, and we delivered it. In your, see, the biggest problem the countries have right now is that they can't import what they want because either the country's overloaded or FedEx is overloaded. Countries overloaded. See, that didn't happen. Even us, for manufacturing, the stuff that should have been here weeks ago is still behind. Can't get here. You didn't feel that? You felt none of that. Whenever you wanted, you went online, you placed your order. 1 or 2 days later, 3 days later, you got it. No shortage, no price gouging. Here's another thing. One of the things I want to do for Iran, that the government, they're worried about what's going to happen with in May, because I guess they're going to peak for the COVID-19. They asked me if I knew somebody so I can give her ventilators. You know, the world is fighting for ventilators. US is fighting, and every state is fighting, and New York Governor Cuomo is fighting with Trump, and everybody wants ventilators because it's a respiratory disease. So I knew some people, and I arranged it to send them 100 ventilators. Each one, they were asking, they're expensive. They're asking like something like 46,000 US per unit. So I'm just trying to help them out, and only to find out that these units really should be 17 or 18,000. They tripled it because of the pandemic, price gouging. And that makes me angry, because these are things that goes to hospitals and it's supposed to go help people and save people, and you triple the price because you can. See, there's certain things in life that this concept of charge what the market can bear doesn't apply. And that starts with health and life. And this idea, it's not Mercedes-Benz that, okay, well, you know what, in Europe, they're paying euros, so we charge more than maybe somewhere else where, you know, the currency is weaker. Like in Canada, the G-Wagon that I just got, it's less expensive than it's the same as in the US, but the currency exchange becomes less because the currency. That's fine. You can do things like that. Price gouge for luxury items, things that are not necessities, fine. But you're going to start price gouge on things that people need during pandemic. See, that's the world outside MLM. You never saw that in opulence. If I didn't bring the word price gouging, you would have never thought about it. You have gone to your back office and placed an order and get it shipped to you directly. What COVID? Life is as normal as it's ever been. And I love that about this industry. Because I think most companies, although I've been told some MLMs are doing it, but I know most good companies, they're not taking advantage of this. Most good companies are staying relevant. Now I know our manufacturing cost goes up. Like for us, it went up a lot, but I kept the price the same. We took it in, you know, and I get it. Some companies may not be able to afford to do that, to take that hit. They raise it a little bit. That's fine. That's okay because price goes up, it goes up. But this idea that we're going to triple the price just because you need it and we're the only one that have it. See, I love MLM. See, that doesn't happen here. Because we are the business for the people. It's people doing business with people, and it's not businesses doing business with people. It's people doing business with people. It's not a government doing business with people. It's people doing business with people. We learned so much more about the benefits of MLM during this pandemic. So as negative as a spin, and really the media that makes us so negative. If you take away the media, 80% of the negativity goes away. But anyway, from the minute that this outbreak came out, I said, COVID is on Team MLM. Because everything it stands for is everything that MLM is. Which is every consequence of the cause is everything MLM is, which is stay home. Great, we're already at home. And whoever wasn't home in a job or a business, guess what? Now they're home. COVID caused long lines, closures. We drop ship. We drop ship. COVID caused price gouging. Mind you, COVID didn't cause anything. People caused it. But let's just talk like the rest of the people, right? And that doesn't happen here. COVID get us to think health and think outside the medical system. See, we've been talking about this for 70 years. MLM is talking about this for 70 years. Preventative medicine, right? Preventative measures, preventative. Well, the traditional business deals with the problem. The traditional business, we're talking about preventative, like the natural medicine. We're talking about preventative. And we've had success. We're a big industry, but now everybody in the world knows, including the most skeptic, that the government and your medicine doesn't have all the answers. And since viruses are the new sport in town, and it's the future, and there's never going to be a vaccine for everything, wow, our business just went to the moon. You'll be on people's speed dial every flu season. So I look at this and I'm thinking, but isn't this is this really something new? It's not. Let's go back 1.5 million years ago. Homo sapiens. You know the funny looking guys? Even we go back to 3.5 million, 5 million years ago, Homo erectus, right? When the beginning of humans, were they employed or were they self-employed? They were self-employed. They went out there, they killed the buffalo, they brought it home, the ladies skinned it and cooked it, and the guys killed and protected. That's what everybody was self-employed. When you look at the animal kingdom, and this is something I did about 10 years ago, and once you can remember, it was pretty cool study. So let me just continue. When you go back even 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 500 years ago, everybody pretty much farmed for themselves, right? They farmed. They raised what they ate. And what they raised, they traded to each other. I'll give you my tomatoes, you give me your cucumbers. That's what life. We were meant to be self-employed because nature is self-employed. Nature, they go out there, they hunt, they find trees, bushes, We are part of nature. We're meant to be self-employed. It became tough to be self-employed because a traditional business, right? It's expensive to start. You require skills. You know, it's most people are already so stressed with their time and the finances, they can't afford to give up their job and they got mortgages. Very difficult to become self-employed because of all the restrictions that we have. And MLM brought the concept that we're raised with 5 million years ago, is putting it into our hands. Well, anybody can become, once again, self-employed. I'm going to share something with you. You know, when your mind is in the state, in a scientific term for it is that my mind is a state of what's called a flow. What that means is that I'm so used to looking at things a certain way that I see things that others don't. And you all have this state, by the way, but in different things. For example, have you ever been so disciplined in something like workout, gym, for example, or diet, that when you actually don't do it, you feel guilty? No, we've all been there where we're going to the gym, we're doing so good for a while, we're feeling good, we're looking good, and all of a sudden, one day we're supposed to be at the gym, we don't go and feel guilty. Well, that's called a state of flow. When you do something so much in a row that your mind, that's the new normal for you. So when you don't do it, it feels kind of weird, right? Well, for me, it's like that for information. That's why when I used to do my forensic mantra, much of it was on Cyrus, right? No monsters allowed, all of those things I used to do. I can see something and see how it can relate to us. Years ago, I'm going to try to remember this because it's important. Years ago, I saw an article and it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me. They had on there the top 10 or the top 20. I don't remember, it was top 10. I have to get this out. I gotta get this out. It was either the top 10 or the top 20 hardest working creatures on Earth. Get this right. Hardest working creatures on Earth, including human beings. We're part of that. So what this was based on is like how many hours a day a family, one household, has to work in order to live. So they took the animals and they put the humans right in the middle of it. So the ones who had to work the hardest, how many hours a day was it? And the ones who worked the least, how many days was it? So if you, in a 24-hour day, are you working 2 hours a day to live 24 hours? Or are you working 10 hours a day to be able to provide for 24 hours? So, and the whole concept was that the smarter animals or creatures should be able to work less and to create more. And the whole concept was the smarter the creature is, we should be able to do more with less time. Follow me on this, okay? Follow me on this. So you'd think, since we're the only ones with the brain, at least on textbook anyway, we should be working the least, right? You'd think we're the only one that can actually think, so we should be able to find ways that we work the least to be able to create more. Since we can think, we can create, we have creativity, we have opportunities, we know each other, we can talk, we can communicate, we could do everything that other creatures can't do. So you'd think that as human beings, we should be able to be so productive that we work the least amounts of other creatures who don't have those attributes. Guess where the human beings ended up on the hardest working list? I want you to put it down in the chat group. I want to put, where do you think humans ended up in the top 10 of the hardest working creatures in nature? You mean number 1? Okay, just put numbers. Well, Beverly, you should be correct. Number 9, you should be correct. Where do you think humans lie next to other beasts who cannot think, who don't know where to find their food and all the stuff? In a 24-hour period, how many hours a day? Yeah, it should be number 10. It should be. We can think, right? We should be able to, within an hour or two, be able to provide for 24 hours. We think, we have creativity, we can create stuff, we can make stuff, we can kill stuff, we can do whatever, right? So we should be able to do that. Well, let me tell you, I think it was top 20. The human beings ended up at number 18. Sorry, ended up at number 3. So in other words, human beings became the 3rd hardest working individuals, beast on nature. So we became the 3rd dumbest in nature. 3rd. You know what it was? 16 hours a day. Husband and wife, 8 hours each, 16 hours a day. How many hours you got to for your household? 24, right? So human beings became the 3rd dumbest creatures based on the scientific research that we're doing. I think it was Stanford University that was doing this, right? How is it possible that we can think, we can create, we can make, we can do anything, we can farm, how is it possible that human beings are the 3rd hardest working creatures on earth? We became the hardest only to 2 other species. Can you guess what the 2 other species that are harder working than we are? Take a guess. There are 2 species that are dumber than us, harder working than us. Ants, yeah, that's one of them. You're absolutely right. Ants, a good job. Ants is one of them. Bees, that's it. You got it. Bees. Now this is my MLM site coming out. Well, you know what happens, right? I mean, I'm having these ants from my mansion right now because show up the other day, it's like all these hundreds of them walking around on this thing and so forth. So apparently bees work about 20 hours a day. So 20 hours a day. So they're number 2. And ants work 22 hours a day. They only get 2 hours rest. 2 hours rest. The laziest ones were the lions. They work 1 hour a day. They kill, they eat, they sleep for 24 hours. So now, I have a question for you. Are lions self-employed or employed? They're self-employed, right? Are ants and bees self-employed or employed? They're employed. They work for the queen. They work for the queen, right? So, and by the way, the queens are pretty mean in the ants. Because if you make a mistake, whatever that mistake, you bring a wrong thing or you're lazy, apparently they're really organized that way. As soon as you come back, the queen will sting you to death. So the ants work 22 hours a day. They're employed. And who do they work for? The queen. Now, as human beings, self-employed people who are wealthy, they got more, right? They're bigger. Financially, they're bigger than employed people. Do we all agree to that? That self-employed people are financially bigger than employed people, correct? Ironically, I don't think it's a coincidence. Have you ever seen the queen bee or queen ant? It's about 5 times the size of a regular bee and regular ant. Ants like this big, the queen. So again, we are part of nature. So the queen ant is self-employed. She gets all the food. She gets much bigger. She gets to live it up. Where the employed ants, they work 22 hours a day. For the self-employed queen to live it up. Same with bees. Same with humans. Self-employed humans live it up. Much bigger. We got those stats, right? We have those stats that 74% of wealthy people, humans now we're talking, 74% are self-employed. So those stats are already out, Stats Canada. It's already out there. So my hope when I was watching this, I said, it's unbelievable that we have a choice to make. So bees don't get that choice. The ants don't get that choice. But us, we're the third hardest working creatures in nature. How's that even possible? How is that possible? And we have a choice, and we have opportunities, and it's all around us. And we have MLM, we can start the tippy toe. We don't even have to get out of the house. We can build this thing from our computer, our smartphone. We can do it without just pick. And we don't have to create nothing. We don't have to create a thing. We don't have to create the internet. It's already there. We have to create phones and computers are there. We have to create products. The company has it. The company does all the technical work, data, training, everything. And we're still with these opportunities. We are the third dumbest, hardest working creatures on earth. How's it possible? I know, you gotta be a little bit weird to think like me. Well, facts are facts. So if you're waiting for the normal, guess what? This is the normal. Laws will change. Life will never be the same. Let me tell you right now, you will never be able to sneeze in public again. I'm telling you. So today I didn't have an agenda of what I want to talk about. I was impressed with my colleagues in Iran, and I was impressed with their leadership and what they did, and training thousands of people to get on VPN and be able to get on, and what they did. And we closed, by the time we closed, it was like 1:30 a.m. for them. And one lady, we got between three, we got like over 1,000 messages. One lady today, somebody just gets you, right? One lady to this, it was an older lady. She must be in her 60s or so. And she wrote, she says, I was so tired, 1:30 in the morning. She said, I was so tired. My back was hurting. My head was hurting. My hands were hurting from writing because I have arthritis. But I stayed to the last second. And she was thanking me for all this stuff. And I'm thinking, wow. It really hits home for you. Team, get it seriously. Take it seriously. Ask yourself a question. Is your household need to be third on that list of top 20? Shouldn't. It shouldn't. And you can make that choice, and you can make that decision. So with that, let's just open up the lines and spend about 5 minutes and maybe give me a perspective on this weird analogy I just gave you today. This was a weird type of call. Usually we do forensic. This was about, I don't know, I wasn't prepared. I was doing stuff. I thought we just going to just flow today. We didn't do forensic today. So tell me your thoughts about what we talked about tonight.
Okay, so if anybody wants to give their opinion, please raise their hands and I'll unmute you. Maybe I'll start. So I love the like a lot of tidbits. I was taking a million notes as you were speaking. But the main thing is people doing business with people. I thought that was really, really great point. It's not businesses, it's not government, and that we rely on ourselves and we treat each other as human beings, especially in times of COVID. Okay, right now we have Ronan. So Ronan, I'm gonna allow you to talk. Hello, can you hear us?
Hello, hello. Of course I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Thank you, Ramin, for another incredible call. Great insight. And I was just thinking to myself that if you look at my particular predicament, I came over to Thailand for 3 weeks. Corona started, everybody locked down. And in a normal situation, I'd be now like everybody else with no job in a foreign country. I don't know the language, and the best I can do is probably sell necklaces on the beach. Due to the fact that I've made a decision 6 years ago to actually not just be a part of the network marketing industry, but actually identifying a house that have been around at that stage for almost 10, maybe 9, 8 years, and truly understanding the vision of the man that's steering the boat. I never really got it till the first 2 years was really just thinking I know what's going on. But the 4 years after has brought me to a point today that I'm stuck 3 months and there is no week that I'm missing pay that allows me to actually eat, live, and wait for this madness to open some borders so I can return to one of my homes, which is either Australia or Israel. But I think that this little stories is truly touching the massive message that Ramin has given today with his passion and love for his country that is not having an easy time. Truly, I am in awe with what is actually happening. At the age of 52, after 32 years in this industry, always knowing that there is something very powerful about it, but understanding it from the vision of the last 2 months, from a global epidemic point of view, from humanity acting in a way I've never seen in 52 years, which is literally accepting reality and hiding in their homes just because people tell them to. Of course, that would never happen if people tried to shoot each other. That can only happen when you have an invisible enemy that you can't even fight. So in these times, everyone in the world, if they haven't said so yet, they are currently sitting at home thinking about it. I need to find a way to bring money from home. And the fact that, I don't know, my creator has chosen, our CEO, to give him such a precious gift, to allow him to steer the direction of the most important finding in humanity in the last 70 years from nature after penicillin. I think that is something we should all every day contemplate how important our role is. Even if we think we're just a distributor, maybe our role is much more important. And the more we focus our line according to the captain of the ship, the more people we can reach, the more lives we can save. And not just physically from corona or viruses, but also financially, because we know that is the biggest destruction of most relationships, families, and people. I love this call today. Thank you very much. And back to you.
Thanks, William.
Hi, Ramin. It's Renee here. Good evening.
Hey, Renee, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good. Thank you for an amazing training. And, just on the topic of what we're talking about tonight, one thing really hit me this past weekend because, sometimes we think that certain businesses, they look so amazing and stable. And we think that, jobs are impacted, but of course, many businesses were also impacted. And one of the most famous, I guess, Malaysian restaurants in Toronto, the owner is actually one of my customers and one of my partners in this business. But we were just chatting this past weekend, and he was sharing with me that, because I was like, how's it going, Yummy, with your restaurant? His name is Yummy. It's kind of funny. But he said it's horrible. Basically, his rent is about 20,000 a month for his location. And he's saying that after being having that restaurant for the last 15 years, he probably has to shut the business down. And he was begging for me to place an order. So I said, "No, why don't you do Uber Eats?" He said, "Well, Uber charges 30% premium. That's crazy." He says, "It wouldn't make sense with the kind of food that he's selling." And I felt so bad that I had to place an order, just to give him a hand, to try to keep him afloat during this time. And the owner, who was pretty much I guess relaxed, he was the one delivering orders door to door, and he came to my door. I said, "Yeah, I mean, wish you the best of luck," and funny enough, though, he has Fast of Life, and now he's starting to promote that because he needs extra income, because when your rent is 20 grand a month, and it's just like one bad news after the next for him, because then the landlord sent him a bill for $80,000 for apparently all the water bills that he never sent him the billing for. So just seeing someone that I've known, because I've eaten at this restaurant since I was a young kid, since I was literally I don't know, like 15 years old, whatever, and seeing someone that I thought had a really good establishment, to get hit this hard, maybe really realize, my goodness, like MLM is the best kind of business you could ever be in, because really it's once you establish your customers, you establish your partners, and during times like these, we have products that people actually want, sales keep going up, people are still going to be buying the product here, people are looking for opportunity, and you're not impacted whatsoever by this lockdown. So what I mean, thanks so much again for the amazing trade tonight. I just want to share that quick story and my own personal sort of aha moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Renee, and maybe get back Ronan here. One thing is, I guess we're going to finish with this. In March, April is still here. In March, people were locked down. They lost their income. Some people got the subsidy from government. Some people got half. Some got nothing. They're frustrated. Let me ask you some question, and maybe getting Ronan back on too. And the three things that happens, people. Let's talk first about being locked at home. Renee, did that affect you at all, like it has the rest of the world being at home?
You know what? I think the least amount of change for me, I think the least change for a person was me, because, like aside from being out maybe once or twice during the daytime, I've always done pickups, drop-offs. I was home at 3 o'clock with my kids. I was doing homework. I was helping making dinner, and I was doing meetings at nighttime. So it actually, in some ways, made my life even easier, because I don't have to drive to the meetings anymore. I just go to my laptop, boom. So I had, aside from my social life, but business-wise, I had no impact whatsoever, personally speaking.
So you don't have any problem being at home like the rest of the world?
Oh, absolutely not. In fact,
after all, that's what you've done for how long now? How many years you've been full-time from home?
11 and a half years full-time.
11 and a half years. Okay, that's the first question. Second question. Well, the world lost their income in March. How was your income compared to the same period last year?
Oh, actually, I should look that up right now, but I'm pretty sure it was at least double than what it was last year.
That's all. See, guys, doesn't matter if it's Renee or not. We're talking conceptually. Conceptually, can anyone make money who has a job in March of 2020 than last year? The answer is no. The answer is no. Even if the one who is essential, okay, they get paid, whatever. Vast majority of people that lost their income. Conceptually, Renee, not only his check was in time, same time every week. Not only he did not lose his income, not only he didn't stay the same, he doubled in the middle of pandemic. It doubled. So conceptually, it's proof of concept. This is the business that's pandemic proof, and you need to be in it. If it can be pandemic proof for one distributor, it's pandemic proof for another distributor. We have tons of distributors we can talk about, but just so we gotta, when it was on. Ronan, I ask you the same question. You being locked, no, it's not pleasant to be locked out of your country, but this is an important story you need to share, because I remember years ago, Sherry was traveling to Hawaii on a vacation. Sherry's our millionaire, as you know, and she was pregnant, and the baby came out early. The baby came out early, so she got stuck in Hawaii. The baby was premature, so had to stay in the hospital. She had to stay in hotels. She calls her baby $1 million baby because while she was stuck in Hawaii, she had to pay the hospital bills and everything else. Thank God to this business. That's all she did full time.
And the helicopter.
A lot of money. And that saved her. I guess that 2-week Hawaiian vacation became a 3-month or 4-month Hawaiian vacation, but the check was on time. We paid her every single week. She lived on the resort. She took care of the hospital bills until the baby was strong enough to get back home. So similar situation with you, Rona. You take a vacation and this whole thing comes about. Now you're stuck in a foreign country. But if you had a job and this would have happened to you, if you had a job, not an MLM business, not a business, if you had a job that this would have happened to you in Thailand, how would life be compared to now?
Life would be a disaster because I have quite a few friends that we've made over here that got stuck also. And some of them are actually business owners. Some of them are employees. And you know what? They run individual, like conventional business. So they are probably in worse environment than the employees because they're about to lose their businesses. The employees might get another job sometime. But survival here at the moment, unless you have some, like some people I've met lucky enough to store a month or 2 months, but really this can be a very, very, very complicated situation for people.
So let me ask you this. How long have you been full-time working from home in MLM?
Full-time?
Yeah,
I've only done full-time with our company, with Opulence.
So do you mind being home? Forget about where you are. You know, would this affect you the way it affects the rest of the world being at home?
Well, since we're always very honest and open on forensic, I think you better than most people know that I've always been weak on the ground because I'm a creature such as my mom that can be at home for 3 weeks without seeing the elevator and actually loving it. So as paradoxical as it is to the sadness I feel towards where the world is, where humanity is dealing with fear and stress, for me, this would be an elevation to a level of heaven.
So in other words, again, no, my point I'm trying to make, because the world is angry at home, the kids are angry, domestic violence is up, you know, suicide rates are up. The world cannot cope with being at home because they're not used to it. Yet my whole point is home is where security is. Home is where comfort is. And because we work from home and we don't rely to outside home, to us in MLM, this is as normal as it can be. While the rest of the world is suffering being home, we're happy to be home. This is what we do. This is what we do. Question number 2. In March of 2020, the world, the job world and the traditional business world lost their income. And they're relying on a subsidy from the government, wherever they are. How was your income in March of 2020 compared to last year?
Last year I was at around 26,000 in sales or CV, and I think this March was 86,000. So almost 3.5 times.
3.5. How is that even possible? It's pandemic. You're supposed to be unemployed and you're supposed to be stuck on CNN and CP24 and waiting for your government to tell you what they're gonna do for you. How is it possible that your business quadrupled in the middle of pandemic?
Well, anyone that will have a proper vision will understand that there's no other possibility, because if you really think for a second or feel a few billion people locked in a home with no income, and the only way that they have access to the outside world is a screen and now they hear that they can actually create income and bring some food at these crazy times through this screen, that there is no other choice. So in the past, before this epidemic, I had to go through 100 people, and about 25% of them will become customers, 25% of them maybe have become partners, but the other 50% were always skeptical, always had looking for a catch. They were, all of this in the last month has pretty much disappeared through my interactions with people. They are at a stage of panic.
Let me stop you here, Ron, because this is kind of interesting. That must be an interesting conversation when you run into anybody and they're like complaining about the lockdown and loss of income, and you're like, what? There's a lockdown and loss of income?
That usually comes up early in the conversation when they hear I was locked in Thailand, and they ask me, so, well, what are you going to do with your business? And I said, well, that's the magic. My business is wherever I am. And that usually strikes a conversation that brings us into home-based business and, of course, multi-level marketing. But really, the old world of, is it a pyramid or all this stuff, is really dissipating very fast. And I think this is the most important time ever for our industry. And anyone that is not taking part of it while they're locked at home, no offense, they need to be pretty insane, because otherwise, if they don't get involved, even if it's not for the money or success, if they don't get involved and every day have a community, be in connection with outside, they're going to lose their mind anyway. So for any reason, a person needs to be involved. We have one of the best communities that offers the best self-development, self-awareness. I mean, this place is heaven if you're bored at home and tired of Netflix.
Amarjeet writes in Singapore, she's up 21,000. She was 21,000 last month, 80% up. So in the middle of pandemic, MLM incomes are up. Drop the microphone. That's a call tonight. We'll leave it at that. Back to you, host.
Oh, so Ramin, I'm supposed to also remind you about the announcement for Saturday's call.
All right, so Saturday, don't miss Saturday. In our 15-year history, we never had a celebration call. We have it now. We have our very first celebration call. We've achieved two massive things. Global thing. It changed everything, one in prestige and one in the way we do things in Opulence Global moving forward. It changes everything, everything. So, wow, we keep what we have, plus we adding something that can change everything for the better. So nothing changes, but we have something that you would just absolutely love, love, and love. To measure, it's so epic, monumental, that we're going to have a celebration call. So go get yourself a bottle of Dom Perignon, get your favorite drink. We're going to have it. We're going to toast. We may have a live DJ, who knows? We're going to talk about two things. One of the announcement, by the way, just put a prestige where Louis Vuitton is. I'll tell you that. And that's all you need to know. So we're going to have a celebration call. The poster is coming out tomorrow. Get everybody on, your guest on, get your Dom Perignon, get your Louis XIV, whatever it is that you drink. And for you, Ephraim, make sure you get, the most vintage Coca-Cola you can find, So at the end of the day, we're going to have a massive, massive, massive celebration. Look for that poster, and back to you, host.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ramin. I'm so excited for Saturday's call. So a reminder to everybody, that's Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just check your back office to see what time that is in your own country. Let's see, we have some comments here. So it's a game change if people are not looking for this opportunity. Thank you, Ramin. Thanks, Ramin. Great call. So true to Amarjeet. I think, what did Amarjeet say? She hit 21K last month compared to last year, 80% up. Congratulations. Just send them the 25 reasons video, instant gratification. Wow. Yep. Let's see. Game changers are working on their business while the panic people are watching Netflix latest series. That's hilarious. Okay, thank you. Thanks for a great call. Thanks from Israel. Thank you everybody for all your comments and being on this call. So I think we're a little bit past time now. So everybody remember, get on Saturday's call. Get your emails in there so that you can have your reminders on your calendars, and we'll see you all then.
Stay forensic.